I'm 90 years old, and I need to tell you something that took me 64 years to understand. Something so obvious that when I finally saw it, I couldn't believe I'd wasted my entire life chasing the wrong thing. Success. That's what I spent 6 decades pursuing, building, protecting. And here's the part that might upset you. It was all meaningless, not because success is bad, but because I confused success with what I actually needed. And by the time I figured this out, I had 4 years left. 4 years. That's what the doctors gave me when I was 64. Stage 4 pancreatic cancer, inoperable, terminal. They said, make your peace, get your affairs in order, say your goodbyes. I remember sitting in that office, staring at the walls covered in medical degrees and certifications, thinking about my own walls back home, covered in awards and plaques and photos of me shaking hands with important people. And for the first time in my life, I asked myself a question I'd never dared to ask before. What was it all for? I built a commercial real estate empire, owned properties in 17 states, had a net worth that would make most people's eyes water. I was on magazine covers, gave speeches at conferences. Young entrepreneurs wanted to have coffee with me to learn my secrets. And sitting in that doctor's office at 64, being told I had maybe a year to live, I realized I didn't know my own children's favorite foods. I didn't know what my wife dreamed about at night. I didn't know the last time I'd watched a sunset without checking my phone. Success. I had achieved what everyone told me to achieve, and it meant absolutely nothing. Here's what nobody tells you when you're young and ambitious and hungry. Success is a moving target that you'll never catch. It's designed that way. You think you'll be happy when you make your first 100,000. Then it's your first million. Then it's 10 million. Then it's about legacy and empire and being remembered. But remembered by who? For what? I missed my daughter's college graduation because I had a deal closing in Hong Kong. A deal that made me $3 million. $3 million that I've never spent. That I'll never spend. And I can't get that graduation back. I can't get her face when she walked across that stage and looked for me in the crowd and I wasn't there. I can't get that back for $3 million or $300 million. My son got married when I was 58. Beautiful ceremony. And I remember standing there in my expensive suit, giving my speech about how proud I was. And the whole time I was thinking about a property dispute in Chicago. I was physically present, but mentally absent. And my son knew it. He's never said it directly, but I can see it in his eyes. The distance, the politeness that children have with fathers they respect, but don't really know. My wife, Margaret. God, my wife. We were married for 41 years when I got my diagnosis. 41 years. And I don't think I really knew her until year 41. You know what she told me when I came home from that doctor's appointment, when I broke down crying and told her I was dying? She held me and she said, "This is the first time in 20 years you really looked at me, really seen me." And she was right. I'd been so busy building my empire that I'd forgotten the person who'd been standing beside me the whole time, the person who'd sacrificed her own dreams so I could chase mine, the person who'd raised our children essentially alone while I was out conquering the world. 4 years left. That's what they gave me. And you know what happened? I didn't die. The cancer that was supposed to kill me went into remission. Spontaneous remission, they called it. Happens in less than 1% of cases. Medical mystery. divine intervention, luck. Call it whatever you want. But I got 26 more years. 26 years I wasn't supposed to have. And I made a decision in that hospital bed that changed everything. I was done chasing success. I was going to chase what I actually needed. Do you know what you actually need? Not what society tells you to need. Not what your parents or your teachers or Instagram tells you matters. What you, in your deepest self, actually need. I didn't know at 64. I had to learn. The first thing I did was retire, sold everything. My partners thought I'd lost my mind. Here I was, given a second chance at life, and I was walking away from a business worth hundreds of millions. They staged an intervention, literally, sat me down and tried to convince me I was making a mistake. And I looked at these men I'd worked with for decades, these brilliant, successful men, and I realized they were terrified. Not for me, for themselves. Because if I could walk away from all this, what did that say about their own choices? I gave most of the money away, kept enough to live comfortably, set up trusts for my kids and grandkids. The rest went to causes that mattered to Margaret: environmental conservation, arts education, women's shelters. She'd been writing checks to these organizations for years with our money, but now it wasn't our money. It was her money, her decision, her legacy. Then I did something I hadn't done in 40 years. I stayed home, just stayed home. No deals, no meetings, no flights to somewhere important. Just stayed home with my wife. And you know what I discovered? I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know how to just be with another person without an agenda or a goal or a transaction. I didn't know how to have a conversation that wasn't about business. I didn't know how to sit quietly without feeling like I was wasting time. Margaret and I started taking walks. Every morning, just walking around our neighborhood, no phones, no destination, just walking and talking. And for the first time in our marriage, I listened, really listened. She told me about her mother's death when I was too busy to come to the funeral. She told me about the miscarriage she had between our first and second child that I'd somehow forgotten about. She told me about the novel she'd started writing and abandoned because I'd made a joke about her becoming a writer. Every conversation was an archaeological dig into a life I'd lived alongside but never really participated in. My children, that was harder, because they were adults now with their own lives and their own damage I'd helped create. My daughter was 36, married, with 2 kids of her own, and she was repeating all my mistakes, working 80-hour weeks, missing her kids' recitals, chasing success because that's what I'd modeled for her. I tried to talk to her about it, tried to share what I'd learned, and she said, "Dad, I appreciate it, but you don't understand. I have responsibilities, I have goals." And I realized she was right. I didn't understand her situation, but I understood where it led. I understood the moment when you're sitting in a doctor's office and you realize you traded everything that mattered for things that don't. My son was different. He'd gone the opposite direction, became a high school teacher, made $40,000 a year, never impressed me, never tried to impress me. And when I retired and we started spending real time together, I discovered he was the wisest person I knew. He'd figured out at 25 what took me 64 years to learn. That success isn't about what you accumulate. It's about what you contribute. His students loved him. He knew their names, their struggles, their dreams. He showed up every day and made a difference in lives that would never make him rich or famous. And he was happy, genuinely happy in a way I'd never been. So, I asked him. I said, "How did you figure this out so young?" And he said, "I watched you, Dad. I watched what success cost you. And I decided I wanted something different. My own son. My failure had been his teacher. The next 26 years have been the richest of my life. Not financially. I have less money now than I did at 64. But I've traveled, really traveled. Not business trips where you see airport to hotel to conference room to airport. Real travel. Margaret and I spent 3 months in Italy. We learned to cook pasta from a grandmother in Tuscany. We sat in cafes and watched people. We got lost in small villages and didn't care. We saw my son win Teacher of the Year, sat in the audience with 500 strangers, and cried when they called his name. We became people our daughter's kids actually knew, not the grandparents who sent expensive presents and showed up for birthday parties. Real grandparents who knew their favorite books and their fears and their silly songs. I learned to paint. Terrible paintings. But I didn't care. I painted because it made me present. Because when you're mixing colors and trying to capture light, you can't be thinking about anything else. I reconnected with my brother who I hadn't spoken to in 15 years over a business disagreement that neither of us could even remember the details of. We sat on his porch and drank beer and laughed about our childhood, and I realized I'd missed him. This person I'd grown up with. I'd thrown him away over money. I volunteered, taught business classes at a community college, helped immigrants write business plans, mentored young people who reminded me of my younger self, and I tried to save them from my mistakes. Most of them didn't listen. They had the same fire in their eyes I'd had, the same certainty that success would make them happy. But a few did listen, and maybe that's enough. Here's what I learned in these 26 years. What you actually need is very simple. You need to matter to people who matter to you. You need to be present in your own life. You need to do work that feels meaningful to you, not to other people. You need experiences, not possessions. You need to be seen and to see others. You need to forgive and be forgiven. You need beauty, nature, art, music, laughter. You need to know that your time here made things better in some small way. That's it. That's what decades of life and billions of dollars in transactions taught me. You need connection and presence and meaning. Everything else is just noise. I'm 90 years old now. Those 4 years the doctors gave me turned into 26. But they were right about one thing. Time is limited. And I'm running out again. My body is failing in the slow, inevitable way that bodies do. This time, there's no miracle coming. This time, I'm ready. Because I've lived, really lived, not achieved, not succeeded, lived. If I could go back and talk to my 30-year-old self, the man who was just starting to build his empire, here's what I would say. You're chasing the wrong thing. Success will never be enough. The goalpost will always move. You'll sacrifice the people you love for achievements that won't matter when you're dying. Stop. Not stop working, but stop sacrificing. Stop postponing your real life until some future moment when you've achieved enough. That moment will never come. Call your father. He won't be here forever. You'll regret every missed call. Put down your phone during dinner. Your kids are trying to talk to you. They won't always want to. Take the trip. The deal will still be there when you get back. If it's not, it wasn't meant to be. Ask your wife about her dreams. She has them. You've just never asked. Measure your success by how well you love, not by how much you accumulate. But I can't go back. None of us can. I can only tell you what I learned. And I'm telling you now because I'm running out of time to do it. And because I see so many young people making my mistakes, thinking success will make them happy, thinking they have unlimited time to figure out what matters. You don't have unlimited time. You might have 50 years or you might have 5. But however much you have, it's going to feel shorter than you think. And at the end, the only thing that will matter is how you loved, how you showed up, how present you were in your own precious life. I got lucky. I got a warning shot at 64 and 26 more years to get it right. You might not get that warning. You might not get a second chance to choose differently. So I'm asking you to choose now, not tomorrow. Not when you're more successful or more secure or more ready. Now, look around at your life, the people in it, the moments you're rushing through, the beauty you're too busy to notice. This is it. This is your life happening right now while you're waiting for it to start. And I promise you, whatever success you're chasing, it won't give you what you think it will. What you need is already here. The people who love you. The ordinary moments that become extraordinary when you're fully present for them. The chance to matter to someone. The opportunity to make something better. That's what you need. Not success, connection, presence, meaning, love. I'm 90 years old and I'm running out of time. But you're not. You still have time to get this right, to choose differently, to stop chasing success and start living your actual life. Don't wait until you're 90 to figure this out. Don't wait until you're 64 and sitting in a doctor's office being told you have 4 years left. Learn from my mistakes. Choose what matters. Choose it now, before it's too late.